I'm Kyle Johnson. I actually can't drive. Fun fact
Welcome back to the next episode
of
of.
people who can't drive. I think the driving started here, though. There's probably, actually, if we look around the junkyard here,
It's got to be something.
there's probably something here that I crashed or came close
there's
to.
the remnants of the yellow truck.
I never really drove that one. Over there in the corner of the screen, you may be able to see, is the first ever tow truck that I was issued. I never actually drove it other than around the block a couple times because we ended up buying a nicer truck for me to drive. But that was supposed to be my first truck. It is now
half of a truck,
cut in half.
1/4 of a truck, maybe even.
Yeah, it met a guardrail on 540 somewhere one night and has never seen pavement since. So it's been parted out and is a sad shell of itself. One thing you and I talked about before we were on camera was where did some of my driving skill come from? Now, granted, I'm not a great driver. I would say I'm above average. At some point, I will run out of talent, and we'll see just how bad of a driver I truly am.
Got a little close a couple times today.
But the towing really honed my driving skills, we'll say. We got exposed to a lot of different vehicles. The notable one I would have would be the 6-axle dump truck that I brought back from Wilmington on a truck that really wasn't big enough to tow a 6-axle dump truck. And then the owner of the truck also told us that the bed was empty and it was full of clay that was very wet, which, if you do not know, wet clay is significantly heavier than dry clay.
The more you know.
The more you know. So I actually drug it back from Wilmington with all the wheels on the ground, which is not standard towing procedure. Typically, you'd like to have, just maybe the rear couple wheels on the ground at the best.
I believe the DOT says it's a serious infraction of legal road laws.
Actually, I'm going to disagree with that. There was a state trooper I passed on the way back. Not only did he look at me, he looked at me, shook his head, and continued what he was doing on his laptop. So I would argue, in his eyes, perfectly legal setup. Every chain that was on the truck was tied to that dump truck. It wasn't going anywhere.
If it was bringing you with it.
Yeah. Another tow truck driver gave me a salute of honor, I'll call it, as he passed. The first time I ever was around you guys was actually right here in this junkyard. I don't know if you were here with the backhoe. Yes, which is over there.
I have forgotten that. How many years ago was that now?
So that would have been
7 or 8?
9. Probably 9. That'd
years?
probably been 2016. Yeah, I actually came out because another friend of mine was here, and he was like, yeah, come out and hang out. So I came here, and I remember Carl said there was no more room on the backhoe, so that I should climb on top of it and ride on the roof, which is where your brother was first time I met Whip, on the roof of the backhoe. And obviously, that led to a wonderful 9 years of various experiences in automotive excellence.
So we pulled out the convertible Mustang with the 04.
We did, yes. It was down there in the bottom. It didn't run. At that time, I think Whip was under the impression he was going to put a different motor in it. That never came to fruition. But yeah, Carl sent me down there and said, hey, pull it out with this truck and don't come back without it, which I took to heart. The truck had ball tires. It really wasn't set up for what we were doing, but Whit rode in the car and we made it up the hill. Yeah. So basically the car was at the very bottom of a hill. We had a very short chain. That's step one. You don't use a chain for this type of activities, really. And you really shouldn't use a short one at that. Short chain, bottom of the hill. It was like 12:30 at night. It was pitch black out. We backed down there. The truck wasn't capable of getting itself out in a safe manner. We tried 2 or 3 nice, gingerly easy pulls. Wasn't going anywhere. It was just sinking the truck at that point. So I put the truck in 4-wheel drive, 4-low, backed all the way up to where I actually didn't know this at the time because whoever was my spotter wasn't a very good one. I backed into the car. The battery was dead, so Whit couldn't honk the horn. But yeah, I backed in the car with the bumper of the truck. Luckily, didn't hurt the truck. Broke the hell out of the car, bent the hood in, rather. And yeah, I just floored it like 7 or 8 times. And we would inch up the hill a little ways, hold the brakes, back up, inch up the hill a little ways, hold the brakes, back up, so on and so forth. And finally we got it up here. And then I think it was when I went to drive off that I noticed the truck didn't like that it was driving anymore. And that's when we discovered something was broken. I can't remember what it was. It was either the transmission or one of the axles. But my argument to your dad was, you're the one that told me not to come back without it. So I came back with it.
And so, tell me if I'm wrong, but that rolled into a long saga of Carl telling you to do something with some vehicle, and then you went and did that said thing with said vehicle and brought the vehicle back in disrepair, some may say.
Yeah, let's make a list here. We put the roll back in the ditch that one time.
Mm-hmm.
I broke the 05 front end pulling a semi truck out.
Mm-hmm.
We broke the transmission of the 03
Mm-hmm.
in Fayetteville one day.
Mhm.
I remember what we did there.
Blew up the Focus.
I didn't blow the Focus up.
No?
Nah, that wasn't me.
That's not what I heard.
I don't think the Focus was blown up.
Yeah, you blew the clutch out of it, remember?
Oh, the clutch. Oh,
Yeah.
that. Now, I blew the clutch out of the Focus, out of the Porsche, out of debatably the Z3. Can't say that on film.
It's a shame it's all...
Cut.
God. Wrap it up. We're done here.
We're fired.